Okay, year 10, let's talk about some trigonometry. We're looking at right angle triangle trigonometry, especially. Okay. So, we're dealing with this guy, Pythagoras, and his awesome theorem. Uh, in general, it is the length of the longest side of a right angled triangle squared is the same as the two smaller sides squared added together. So it's often written like c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. So they're added together. Alright, and this only works for right angle triangles. So you need to see this right angle symbol in the diagram before you can presume this. Alright, so we don't need to prove how that works, we just need to be able to use it. So let's look at an example question. In this first example, we're looking to find x here. Okay, how do I find x? The unknown side. Now, is it the longest side? Yes. This longest side is called the hypotenuse. So you need to get use of that word. We're going to use it again. So hypotenuse for the longest side of a right angle triangle. How do I know it's the longest side? Well, it's across from the right angle. See this one? It's across from the right angle. That means it's the biggest side. Because it's the biggest angle in the triangle, would have the biggest side opposite. Okay, so using my Pythagoras formula over here, I can rearrange this. X squared, this side squared, is equal to 4 squared plus 3 squared. You probably came across this last year, but we're going through it again anyway. Alright, so, well, squared means it times itself. So 4 times itself is 16, 3 times itself is 9, and that's x squared. X squared then equals 25. Okay, so we have x squared equal to 25. What does x equal? Well, what times itself is 25, otherwise known as the square root of 25. And that is 5. So the answer to this first one is 5. Second question then is a little bit more difficult. Why is it more difficult? Well, this one, the longest side, we do know. We don't know one of the two shorter sides, so it is not set up the way Pythagoras' theorem is normally set up, where the longest side equals the two other sides added together. So in order to find this, we need to do some rearranging. If you're not looking for the longest side, you will be subtracting. Here we're adding, so we're going to subtract this, take away this squared, will equal one of the shorter side squares. So in this case, x squared equals 13 squared, take away 12 squared. So the longest side, take away one of the short sides, will leave you with x squared. And that's just a rearrangement of this. So you can rearrange. If a were to be subtracted from both sides, it would come over here and be c squared, take away a squared. That's just that. The longest side, take away one short side, will give us either of the two short sides. Okay, so x squared then equals, well, what's 13 squared? It's 169, take away 144, and we get x squared equals to 25. Okay, it just so happens to be 25 again. Won't always be 25, obviously. But what times itself is 25, and it must be 5. Now, if it's a more awkward one and you're not sure, you can always use the square root button on your calculator. That's this button. In order to get the square root of 25, so you press that button, square root, 25, and that gives you 5. And that's the basics of Pythagoras' theorem. So remember, 2 takeaways. If you're looking for the longest side, it'd be the two other sides added together, squared, and then get the square root. If it's one of the two shorter sides, square both and subtract instead of adding. So this one we subtracted, and always get the square root of the answer at the end. If there's units in the question, use the units, so usually it's centimeters. And yeah, it's always a positive answer. Make sure your answer makes sense. So this would make sense to be 5 because it's the shortest side of the three. Makes sense, so it's going to be smaller than 12 and 13. This also would make sense to be 5 because it's the biggest side. It's bigger than 4 and 3. Just make sure you check your final answer that it works out that way. Alright, let me know any questions. There will be my maths task. Look at that, and best of luck with it.